The alien capital had not known true celebration in many cycles. Tall crystal towers glowed softly under the twin suns, and long banners of mourning still hung between the spires. Today was meant to be another quiet Remembrance Day, the annual moment when the kingdom honored Princess Lyrian, the royal daughter who vanished years ago during a failed diplomatic journey beyond known space. Most citizens believed she was gone forever. The royal plaza was full, yet silent. Thousands stood shoulder to shoulder, their heads lowered. Elders whispered old prayers. Young ones listened to stories of the princess they had never met a kind ruler to be. Curious about the stars, brave beyond her years, on the high balcony, King Aurelian stood stiff and unmoving. His mate, Queen Sarava, kept her hands clasped tightly to hide the trembling. Years had passed, but the pain had not softened. Hope had become a dangerous thing, one they no longer allowed themselves to feel. The royal herald stepped forward, preparing to speak the words spoken every year. That was when the sky changed. A sharp alarm rang across the plaza. The soft blue shields above the city flared bright gold. People gasped and looked up as an unfamiliar ship dropped out of warp space, directly above the capital. It was not an alien vessel. It was human. The crowd erupted in fear. Guards raised their weapons at once. Humans were rare in this region of space, and stories about them were filled with danger, strength, and unpredictability. Some said they were merciless warriors. Others claimed they could survive worlds that would kill any other species. The ship did not fire. It descended slowly, carefully, as if aware of every frightened eye watching it. It landed at the center of the plaza. Steam hissing from its engines. Silence fell again, but this time, it was heavy with terror. The ramp opened. A single figure stepped out first. She was taller than many remembered. Her posture was straight, her movements calm and controlled. She wore simple travel clothing instead of royal robes. A faint scar traced one side of her face, but her eyes were unmistakable. Blue gold. Royal eyes. The queen gasped. The king staggered forward. "It cannot be," someone whispered. Princess Lyrian stood alive before them. For a heartbeat, the world froze. Then the crowd surged with sound cries, disbelief, prayers shouted in joy. Some fell to their knees. Others reached out as if afraid she might vanish again. But the shock was not over. Behind the princess stepped a human. He was tall, broad-shouldered, wearing worn armor marked with scratches and faded insignia. His helmet was clipped to his side, revealing tired eyes and a calm expression. He carried weapons, but they were powered down. Most striking of all was how close he stood to her. Princess Lyrian was holding his arm, not gripping it in fear, not restrained. Her hand rested there naturally, as if it was the safest place in the galaxy. The celebration shattered into confusion. Guards moved instantly, forming a barrier. Energy weapons aimed directly at the human. Council members shouted orders. Old fears rushed back to life. Separate them. Take the human into custody. Check the princess for mind control. The princess did not let go. She lifted her voice, calm but firm. Stand down. Her words carried authority, the kind only royalty could command. Some guards hesitated, unsure what to do. The king stepped forward, his voice shaking. "Lyrian, my child, are you harmed?" She met his gaze, and for the first time in years, she smiled. "No, father. I stand here by my own will," the council leader snarled, pointing at the human. "Then explain him." The human looked around slowly. He did not raise his weapon. He did not speak. Instead, he took one step forward and knelt on one knee, not in surrender, in respect. Gasps rippled through the plaza. Princess Lyrian spoke again. "This is Captain Elias Ward of the Terran Union. He is the reason I am alive." Murmurs spread like fire. The council demanded answers, but the king raised a hand. His eyes never left the human. "You will come before the throne," the king said. "Both of you." The guards escorted them through the palace halls. Whispers followed them everywhere. Some stared at the human with fear. Others watched him with growing curiosity. He walked calmly, always half a step behind the princess. his eyes constantly scanning not for threats to himself, but to her. Inside the throne chamber, the council gathered in a tight circle, shields activated. Security drones hovered above. The humans stood silently as the princess was examined by royal medics. Their scans showed no implants, no manipulation, no control. She was herself. That unsettled the council even more. "How did you survive?" the queen asked softly once the scans ended. The princess took a slow breath. "Because a human refused to leave me behind." She told them how her convoy had been destroyed by raiders, how she had drifted in an escape pod, injured and alone, how days later, a human patrol ship had detected a weak distress signal far beyond its assigned route. Captain Ward had been ordered to mark the signal and move on. He did not. "He broke protocol," Lyrian said. "He said a life mattered more than orders." The human finally spoke, his voice low and steady. She was alive. That was enough. She described years spent traveling dangerous systems, hiding from raiders, learning how humans survived harsh worlds. The human had taught her how to defend herself, how to endure, how to make choices without fear. "He never treated me as royalty," she said. "Only as someone worth protecting." On, the council whispered among themselves. Still, doubt remained. "Humans are known for ambition," one counselor said. "What does he gain from returning you?" Captain Ward met the council's gaze. "Nothing," he said. "She asked to come home, so I brought her." Before more could be said, alarms blared again. This time, the threat was real. Multiple hostile ships appeared on the edge of the system. "The same raiders. They followed us," the princess said quietly. The council erupted in panic. Shields activated across the city. Defensive fleets scrambled, but they were unprepared. Captain Ward stepped forward. "They won't stop unless stopped hard." The king looked at him. "You know their tactics?" "I survived them," the human replied. So did she. A heavy silence filled the chamber. The king made a decision that would echo across history. "Give the human temporary command advisory," he said. "We listen." As the city prepared for battle, Princess Lyrian tightened her grip on the human's arm. For the first time since her return, fear flickered in her eyes, not for herself, but for the world she loved. And Captain Elias Ward stood ready. Because humans did not abandon those they brought home. The alien capital moved with urgent speed. Energy shields rose higher around the city, glowing like a second sky. Defense fleets launched from hidden bays, forming tight formations above the atmosphere. Sirens echoed through the streets as citizens were guided into shelters. Fear returned, but this time it was different. This time, the lost princess was home. Inside the command hall, tension filled the air. Holographic maps showed hostile raider ships gathering at the edge of the system. Their numbers were greater than expected. The alien commanders argued loudly, each pushing a different strategy. Some demanded an immediate full strike, others wanted to retreat and protect only the core worlds. Captain Elias Ward stood quietly at the edge of the room. He had been given no rank here, no uniform, no authority badge. Only permission to speak when asked. Even so, his presence felt heavy, like a storm waiting to move. Princess Lyrian stood beside him, her posture calm but alert. Her eyes followed every changing symbol on the tactical map. "These raiders do not attack like us," she said finally. The room fell silent. She turned to the council. "They wait. They probe. They look for weakness. If we rush forward, they will split us apart," one commander scoffed. "You speak as if you know them." "I do," she replied. "I lived among their shadows for years." Her words carried weight. The room quieted. Captain Ward stepped forward slightly. "They fear one thing," he said. "Being trapped." Several commanders turned toward him. "They rely on escape routes," he continued. "Hit and run. If those routes disappear, their confidence breaks." The council leader narrowed his eyes. "And how would you know this, human?" Ward did not react to the tone. "Because they hunted us. Repeatedly. And they failed." Princess Lyrian looked at him, a small nod of trust passing between them. The king watched closely. He had not spoken much since his daughter's return. His heart was torn between joy and fear. Fear that trusting too fast could cost them everything. "Explain," the king said. Ward activated the map and adjusted several points. "They expect your fleets to guard the planet closely. Instead, move them outward. Let them think you are spreading thin. Then close the net behind them." Some commanders protested immediately. "That is reckless. We would expose our outer defenses." Ward met their gaze calmly. Only for a moment. The room buzzed with uncertainty. As strategy discussions continued, Princess Lyrian was escorted away briefly to rest. But rest did not come easily. She stood alone on a balcony overlooking the city. Twin suns dipped lower in the sky, painting the towers in gold and red. The sounds of preparation echoed everywhere: ships launching, shields charging, voices filled with worry. She felt the weight of her return pressing on her chest. Captain Ward joined her quietly. "You should rest," he said gently. "I slept enough among stars that wanted me dead," she replied. This matters." They stood in silence for a while. "Do they still see you as a threat?" she asked softly. He did not answer right away. "Fear is easy," he said. "Trust takes longer." She turned to him. "You never feared me." He shook his head. "You were hurt. That was all that mattered." Her fingers curled slightly at her side. "You could have left me," she said. "Many times." Ward looked out at the city. "Humans don't measure worth by titles. We measure it by lives." The memory returned to her, floating alone in darkness, systems failing, hope fading. Then a human voice crackling through broken comms. "I see you. Hold on." Inside the palace, the council continued to argue. Some accused the human of manipulating the princess. Others feared public panic if civilians learned a human was directing defenses. The queen listened quietly, her eyes sharp. "She has changed," the council leader said. "Stronger. More human." The queen stood. "She survived because she learned." "Would you rather?" she returned, broken. Silence followed. Outside the system, the raider fleet advanced. They sent no messages, no threats, only movement. Scouts detected strange energy spikes, unfamiliar weapons charging. Panic rippled through the command hall again. "They are testing our shields," a technician called out. Ward studied the readings. "No," he said. "They're searching for response time." He turned to the king. "If you allow it, I will take a small unit forward." Several voices protested at once. "That is unacceptable. You are not one of us." Princess Lyrian stepped forward. "I will go with him." The room froze. "No," the king said immediately. "Absolutely not." She met her father's eyes. "You raised me to lead, not hide." The king's hands trembled. He looked at Ward. "If anything happens to her," Ward bowed his head slightly, "I won't fail." Against every tradition, the king agreed. A small mixed squad launched alien fighters alongside a single human craft. The human ship moved differently, sharper, faster. Its engines burned hot, pushing limits alien ships avoided. As they approached the raider line, enemy ships shifted. Curious, the trap began to take shape. Ward coordinated calmly, his voice steady across the comms. "Hold positions. Let them think we're exposed." The raiders advanced. Then suddenly, alien fleets emerged from hidden vectors, sealing off escape routes. Confusion spread among the raiders. "They're boxed in," an alien pilot whispered. The raiders panicked. Weapons fired. Space lit up with energy bursts. The battle was fast, brutal, and precise, but Ward did not chase glory. He focused on defense, redirecting fire away from weaker ships, pulling damaged fighters back. Princess Lyrian watched in awe. This was human warfare, not reckless aggression, but calculated protection. Still, the raiders were not finished. One enemy ship broke through, heading straight for the capital. Ward reacted instantly. "I'm intercepting." "Wait," Lyrian shouted. But the human ship surged forward. He placed his craft directly between the raider and the planet, shields flaring dangerously. Warning lights flashed. Systems strained. The raider fired. Ward's shields held barely. Alien forces destroyed the raider seconds later. The battlefield fell quiet. Cheers erupted across the alien fleet. Back in the capital, citizens watched the feeds in disbelief. The human ship limped home, scarred but intact. When Ward and Lyrian returned to the palace, the atmosphere had changed. The council no longer shouted. They watched. The king stepped forward and placed a hand on Ward's shoulder, a gesture of respect. "Today," he said, "you defended more than a princess. You defended our people." Ward nodded. "That's what humans do." "Everything's for watching." Princess Lyrian stood beside him, pride shining in her eyes. But far beyond the system, deeper in the void, something else stirred. A larger force had seen the battle, and they were coming. The celebration after the battle did not last long. Across the command hall, screens flickered with new data. Long-range sensors detected movement far beyond the outer system. At first, the signals were faint, almost invisible. Then more appeared, and more. The room fell silent. Princess Lyrian felt the change before anyone spoke. The air felt heavier, as if the stars themselves were holding their breath. A technician swallowed hard. Multiple fleets, not raiders. Something bigger. Captain Elias Ward stepped closer to the display. His expression did not change, but his eyes sharpened. "They watched the fight," he said quietly. "And they learned." The council erupted into fear. "How many? Where are they coming from? Are they allied with the raiders?" Ward answered calmly. "They are not allies. They are collectors." The word sent a chill through the room. Princess Lyrian turned to him. "Collectors?" He nodded once. "Species that move through war zones after battles. They take technology. Sometimes territory. Sometimes people." The queen's face went pale. "They will see us as weak. They will see you as valuable," Ward corrected. The king clenched his fists. "We barely held against the raiders. We cannot fight another war." Silence followed. Ward looked at the princess. She already knew what he was thinking. She could see it in his posture, the way his shoulders squared, the way his breathing slowed. "You're planning something," she said softly. He met her gaze. "I am." Inside the palace, evacuation plans were discussed. Outer colonies prepared to retreat. The people waited, watching the skies with growing fear. That night, Princess Lyrian could not sleep. She stood alone in a quiet hall filled with old statues, past rulers, heroes of her people. She wondered if she was worthy to stand among them. Footsteps approached. Ward stopped beside her. "You should rest," she smiled faintly. "You always say that when you know I won't." They stood in silence. "They will demand surrender," she said. "Or tribute." "Yes. And if we refuse?" "They will test us," he said. "Hard." She turned to him. "You're thinking of drawing them away." He did not deny it. "You can't fight them alone," she said quickly. "I don't need to win," he replied. "I need time." Her hands trembled. "Time for what?" "For your people to prepare," he said. "For the galaxy to notice." "Mining." She shook her head. "That sounds like a sacrifice." Ward looked at the statues. "Humans understand sacrifice." "No," she said firmly. He faced her fully. "Lyrian, if they land here, your people die." Tears filled her eyes. "And if you leave, I lose you." He said nothing. The next day, the collector fleet entered the system. They were massive, dark ships with shifting armor, built for intimidation. They did not attack at once. Instead, they broadcast a single message: surrender the human, submit technology review. Compliance ensures survival. Fear spread like wildfire. The council panicked. "They only want the human. Give him to them. We can save millions." Princess Lyrian stood abruptly. "Enough." Her voice echoed through the chamber. "He is not an object," she said. "He is not a tool. He is a person." The council leader snapped back. "And he is the reason they came." Ward stepped forward before she could speak again. "I will go," he said. The room froze. "No," Lyrian said instantly. Ward looked at her, eyes steady. If I go alone, they focus on me. If they stay here, they take everything. The king's voice was low and broken. You would give yourself up for us? Ward shook his head. I won't surrender. I'll lead them away. Princess Lyrian grabbed his arm. That's suicide. Maybe, he said gently. But it's also hope. She stepped closer, her voice shaking. You promised you wouldn't leave me. I promised to protect you, he replied softly. This is how. Tears fell freely now. The king stood slowly, his pride warred with his fear. At last, he bowed his head to a human. You have already done more than we could ever repay. Ward gave a small nod. Hours later, a single human ship launched from the capital. It flew straight toward the collector fleet. The galaxy watched. The collectors reacted instantly, their formation shifting as they locked onto the lone craft. They followed it away from the planet, deeper into open space. Princess Lyrian stood in the command hall, watching the feed. Her hands were clenched so tightly they shook. Come back, she whispered. Ward's voice came through the comms, calm as ever. Multiple ships, pursuing. Exactly as planned. Alien commanders watched in disbelief as the human ship dodged, weaved, and pushed its engines beyond safe limits. It did not fight. It ran, but it ran with purpose. Ward led them toward a dense asteroid field near a dead star, an area alien ships avoided due to unstable gravity. The collectors followed. Inside the field, chaos erupted. Massive ships struggled to maneuver. Collisions damaged their own hulls. Their advanced weapons became liabilities. Ward's smaller craft moved like a ghost. Alien sensors lost track of him repeatedly. Then silence. The feed cut out. Princess Lyrian screamed his name. Hours passed. No signal. No wreckage. No confirmation. The collectors retreated, damaged and confused, leaving the system entirely. The capital was saved, but the human was gone. Days turned into mourning. The kingdom held a silent vigil. Banners changed from fear to sorrow. The people spoke the human's name with respect. Princess Lyrian withdrew from public view. She blamed herself. If she had spoken sooner. If she had found another way. She stood once more on the balcony where she and Ward had watched the suns set. I should have stopped you, she whispered to the stars. Behind her, a soft alert sounded. A technician burst into the room. Princess, we have a signal. Her heart stopped. The screen flickered. A damaged human ship drifted into view, barely holding together, and then a familiar voice crackled through. Guess. I took the long way back. She ran. The palace erupted in joy as rescue ships launched. Ward was pulled from his craft, injured but alive. When Princess Lyrian reached him, she did not hesitate. She knelt beside him, tears streaming freely. You're impossible, she said through sobs. He smiled weakly. You sound relieved. She pressed her forehead to his. Don't ever do that again. He closed his eyes. No promises. Around them, alien soldiers and citizens watched in awe. A human had faced the void alone, and returned, but the galaxy had seen it too, and nothing would ever be the same again. The alien capital never looked brighter. Towers gleamed under twin suns. Banners of welcome waving alongside long-forgotten mourning cloths. Citizens flooded the streets, their voices rising in celebration. The lost princess had returned. The city had survived not just one threat, but two, and at the center of it all stood a human, the one they had been told to fear. Princess Lyrian stepped onto the balcony overlooking the plaza. She felt the warmth of the crowd's eyes on her, their admiration, curiosity, and cautious awe. Beside her, Captain Elias Ward leaned slightly on his cane, his uniform torn and scorched, but his spirit unbroken. Your Highness, a counselor said nervously, bowing deeply. The people. They are waiting for you to speak. Lyrian took a deep breath. She looked at Ward. His eyes were steady, patient, quietly urging her to lead. He had risked everything for her, for the kingdom, for her people, and now she had the chance to honor him in front of everyone. My people, she began, her voice clear and strong. Years ago, I was taken from you. Many thought I would never return. I have survived, not alone, but because of someone who never gave up on me, a human who knew nothing of our customs, our fears, or our titles. He only knew one thing: that a life mattered. That I mattered. Gasps ran through the crowd. Aliens who had once feared humans now looked with awe at the man standing beside their princess. Ward straightened. "I did what any being with a conscience would do," he said simply. "No more, no less." The princess smiled. "No," she said softly. "You did more. You taught me courage. You taught me survival. You taught me what it means to trust." Murmurs of admiration filled the plaza. Children stared wide-eyed. Soldiers lowered their weapons. The king and queen exchanged a glance. The pride in their eyes was mingled with something else: relief, gratitude, and a dawning understanding that their daughter had returned not just alive, but transformed. "Today," Lyrian continued, "I stand before you as your princess, yes. But I also stand before you as someone who has seen what humanity can offer. Their courage, their wisdom, their loyalty. Captain Ward is a hero not because he fought for glory, but because he fought to protect others. And in that, we see a truth we cannot ignore. Humans are not monsters. Humans are capable of greatness. Humans are worthy of our trust." The plaza erupted into cheers. The words carried far beyond the city, reaching satellites, distant colonies, and even ships still in orbit. The alien kingdom had never heard a declaration so bold, so filled with hope, and so deeply true. The king stepped forward, his voice strong, though tinged with emotion. "Captain Elias Ward," he said, "for your courage, your service, and your devotion, you are recognized by this kingdom as a protector of our people. Not as a guest, not as an outsider, but as an ally and a friend." Ward bowed his head in respect. "Thank you, Your Majesty," he said simply. Princess Lyrian reached for his arm, and he took it without hesitation. She squeezed gently, a small smile touching her lips. The crowd watched in quiet amazement. This bond between human and alien, forged in danger and hardship, had become a symbol of hope for the kingdom. A young soldier approached the princess. "Your Highness," he said nervously, "what shall we do about the remaining threats? The raiders, and others?" Lyrian's gaze shifted to Ward. "We will face them together," she said. "But first, we celebrate. We honor those who returned with us, and we remember those who could not." Across the plaza, families embraced. Citizens shared stories of courage from the past days. The soldiers who had fought alongside Ward and Lyrian were hailed as heroes. The unity of the kingdom, once fractured by fear and uncertainty, now felt complete. Later, inside the palace, a quieter moment came. The celebrations were loud, but Ward and Lyrian found themselves alone in a sunlit garden. Flowers bloomed even out of season, their colors vivid and alive, as if the world itself celebrated their survival. "You did everything you said you would," Lyrian whispered. "And more." Ward shook his head. "I only did what had to be done. You survived because you never gave up. That is the truth." She reached out and placed her hand on his. "You never gave up either. I don't just mean on me, you never gave up on the kingdom, on its people. Even when everything seemed hopeless." Ward's lips curved into a faint smile. "Humans, we have a way of holding on." She laughed softly, tears in her eyes. "I know. And now, you are part of us." He glanced at the palace towers in the distance. "Part of you? Yes. But part of something greater too. Humans are just beginning to walk among the stars. And now, I think we've shown that we can walk beside others. Not conquer. Not destroy. But protect." Her heart swelled. She realized that in trusting him, the kingdom had also learned something important. Humanity was not just strong. Humanity was brave, wise, and capable of love, exactly the qualities her people needed to see, to believe in, and to embrace. The next day, the formal recognition ceremony took place. Aliens from every corner of the kingdom came to witness it. Ward stood with Lyrian as the king placed a ceremonial medal on his chest, a symbol of honor, respect, and unity. Children waved flags with human and alien symbols intertwined. Historians and scribes began recording the day for the archives. Princess Lyrian spoke again, addressing everyone. "Let this day be remembered," she said, "as the day we overcame fear. As the day we welcomed courage, loyalty, and trust into our hearts. And as the day we learned that heroes can come from anywhere, even from beyond our stars." Cheers erupted once more, louder than any before. The human soldiers, the alien guards, and the citizens all joined in a shared moment of joy and hope. As the sun set, casting golden light across the city, Lyrian and Ward walked together through the palace halls. There were still challenges ahead, alliances to strengthen, colonies to protect, and future threats to prepare for. But for the first time in years, the princess and her kingdom felt secure. Ward paused, looking down at her. "The galaxy is watching now," he said quietly. "And they will know what it means to face humans who care." She nodded. "And they will know what it means to face a princess who trusts her people and her friends to stand beside her." He smiled faintly. "Then perhaps we are ready." The palace doors opened to the night. The twin moons hung in the sky, reflecting in the calm waters of the capital's canals. Ships returned from patrol, families reunited, and the city's energy was alive, with life and laughter once more. For Princess Lyrian, the long years of uncertainty, fear, and survival had led to this moment, home, safe, and stronger than ever. For Captain Elias Ward, it had been a journey through danger and darkness, but it had proven what humans could accomplish, when driven not by conquest, but by honor, loyalty, and compassion. Together, human and alien, they stood as a symbol, not of power alone, not of fear or dominance, but of something greater: the courage of humanity, the strength of trust, and the hope of a galaxy that had yet to understand what humans were truly capable of. The alien kingdom rejoiced, and somewhere, far in the stars, the human presence would continue to change the universe, not as conquerors, but as partners, allies, and heroes. And in that celebration, the lost princess held the arm of the human who had returned her to her people, a hero, a protector, and a reminder of everything good in the universe. The galaxy would never forget.